Painted Black video in 2016 that's still on their website, where they effectively, this is alleged, faked the entire video and the car actually crashed, whereas they say in the video the car's driving itself. So they don't lead in any technological aspect. So he's already taken that money the government's trying to give to the auto buyer and put it in his pocket. VW is outselling them and battery electric vehicles in all of Europe. We think in the US, Ford will probably take that mantle, or GM next year. And with respect to autonomous driving, they rank dead last. So this idea that he's trying to, expand EVs for all. I mean, his actions say the exact opposite. Tesla has big problems. With no new cars coming next year from Tesla, I think not only do you have a gross margin risk, but you have a volume risk.
He's back. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Humiliation Fetish himself, the laughing stock of Wall Street, and that's really saying something. Gordon the class clown Johnson. In today's video, Gordon the genius Johnson makes a huge accusation accusing Tesla of epic fraud, faking a video and misleading investors as a result. He claims that next year, GM and or Ford will be selling more electric vehicles than Tesla in the US. Good fucking luck with that. Gordon also accuses Elon Musk of gaslighting the general public, claims that Tesla has no technological advantage, that other automakers are already producing vehicles with superior performance, and has a number of other legitimate comments about Tesla, truly cementing his place as the smartest man on Wall Street. So let's get into the video. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support.
You would dispute that there's no rival close to Tesla in 2022. This analyst, he says just across the board in terms of software, in terms of access to chips, the best batteries, the longest batteries, all through vertical integration. A key differentiator, and margins are actually going to go up, he expects. Clean auto gross margins 30%. On 1.4 million cars in 2022. That all sounds bullish. You don't buy it.
Listen, let's be honest. Consumer Reports just put out their reliability report. Tesla is ranked 27 out of 28. The second least reliable car in their report.
I think Gordon Johnson misspoke there. It happens, live television, it is what it is. But I think what he meant to say was con job reports or con the consumer reports. For those of you who are unaware, look into the philanthropic partners of this so-called legitimate, unbiased organization. They may or may not have ties to large legacy automotive manufacturers. They also may be dangerously stupid morons. If you're unsure what I'm talking about, have a search on this YouTube channel for Consumer Reports and you'll find a trove of information relating to this company. And I thought this tweet was relevant. Funny thing happens when Conjob Reports asks consumers about vehicles rather than tells them about vehicles. And here's the tweet I was quoting from Conjob Reports. We surveyed car owners to find the most satisfying vehicles on the road. Rounding out the top 3 were the Tesla Model 3, Kia Telluride, and Tesla Model S. Funny that, 2 of the top 3 vehicles, when Conjob Reports actually ask consumers rather than saying, hey, this vehicle sucks, this is unsafe, this is crap, blah, 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 turn out to be Tesla vehicles. So take what Gordon is saying with a Mount Everest-sized grain of salt.
Let's look at the numbers. This isn't what I think, this is factual.
Anyone sense the world's greatest cherry-picking expert about to do what he does best?
BYD is outselling Tesla in battery electric vehicles in China.
Cherry number 1 has successfully been picked. You notice Gordon is talking about a specific geographical location. Why does this matter? Well, it suits the narrative rather than painting an accurate picture of what's going on. Remember, at the end of the day, the one metric that matters is how many electric vehicles is Tesla selling on planet Earth. Anything else, any smaller region than that is totally irrelevant.
VW is outselling them and battery electric vehicles in all of Europe.
Cherry number 2 successfully picked.
We think in the US, Ford will probably take that mantle, or GM next year.
You heard it here first, folks. Breaking news from the class clown himself. General Motors and or Ford will sell more electric vehicles than Tesla in 2022 in the United States. Please set a reminder for about January or February 2023 so I can come back and barbecue this Muppet.
The batteries they're putting in their car are from CATL in China. Every single car out there that's coming to the US can either match or beat them in real world mileage.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. At this point in time, nobody's beating Tesla Tesla on range, and I know there's going to be a few more on, so please let me address this in an apples to apples comparison.
Oh, but the Lucid Air's got 520 miles of range.
Yes, it also has a starting price of about $420 trillion. Thereabouts, and has a larger pack than anything comparable. When you have a very expensive purchase price, this allows you to use different components and materials, e.g. lighter, more efficient, etc., that aren't exactly feasible in a mass market vehicle to squeeze a little bit more range. If we're talking apples to apples, nobody else is close. For the same price point, the same size battery pack, no one is close to Tesla's efficiency.
And with respect to autonomous driving, they ranked dead last. The New York Times just put out a great expose.
By the way, if anyone's wondering, Gordon is actually referring to some so-called research, using the term exceedingly loosely because this is self-immolation, not research, by a company known as Navigant, which was later acquired by a company called Guidehouse. This is now behind a paywall. I think you need to drop about $4,000. Let's have a look just to be sure. At a mere $3,950 if you want access to the Guidehouse Insights leaderboard for automated driving vehicles. Talk about an incredible waste of money. Gordon is referring to their ranking system, which literally had Tesla dead last. I've got a graphic on screen showing the previous leaderboard when the company was still known as Navigant. So this isn't Gordon's personal opinion. He's just referring to this brain-dead research.
The New York Times just put out a great expose where they allege that Tesla effectively put out this painted black video in 2016 that's still on their website, where they effectively, this is alleged, faked the entire video and the car actually crashed, whereas they say in the video the car's driving itself.
This is a handy little trick from Gordon. One way to tarnish and smear a company's reputation and say something without saying it is actually to reference accusations coming from another source. For example, if I decided to start a conspiracy theory website and publish some allegations that I personally think maybe Gordon Johnson's research firm is actually a sham shop, maybe he's an oil shill, maybe he's a short seller's puppet, I could publish these allegations. Of course, I'm not saying that's true and totally isn't true, absolutely isn't true, but just in theory, just to make the example. Then other people could start talking about the fact that Gordon Johnson is a paid shill or puppet, doesn't actually believe his research, has nefarious motivations, doesn't actually believe what he's saying, and people could then tarnish the reputation of the class clown without actually personally making an accusation. This is a very smart strategy. Of course, once again, I want to be really clear. I personally believe Gordon Johnson means absolutely everything he says. His research firm is legitimate. There's nothing nefarious going on behind the scenes. He's not an oil shill. He has no ties to Legacy Automotive, and he definitely isn't receiving large piles of cash from a short seller. There's absolutely no chance that is real, just to be clear.
They don't lead in any technological aspect.
You heard it here first, folks. Our very intelligent, legitimate analyst, Gordon Johnson, believes that Tesla has no technological advantage whatsoever, and I totally think he's right. There's no evidence to the contrary. Good point, Gordon. You got us there.
The only advantage they have is in superchargers. I think that's why Elon Musk is aggressively trying to get the $7 billion taken out of the BBB bill, because if that $7 billion is kept in, all of the other guys who are coming to the U.S. who can beat them on real world range, who can beat them on autonomy, who can beat them on technology, will now have that supercharger network, and Tesla will have no advantage. With respect to the $140 billion in the Build Back Better bill for autonomous tax credits, Elon Musk, he's saying he wants that taken out. I think this is gaslighting. Listen, he's already increased the price of his cars over the past month by roughly $7,500. So he's already taken that money the government's trying to give to the auto buyer and put it in his pocket.
Look, I gotta be honest, I gotta give this guy some credit. The mental gymnastics here to twist and distort reality to paint this narrative, pretty impressive. The reason that Tesla's prices have increased consistently this year, which by the way means making a shit ton more money on every vehicle sold, is to avoid consumers having incredible, unreasonable wait times. Those buying Tesla vehicles today already have wait times of 6, 9, up to 12 plus months just to take delivery of their vehicles. This is not reasonable. Some of the price increases come down to supply chain issues, part shortages, etc., meaning the price of these are going up. But at the end of the day, for Gordon to be painting this in a negative light, Tesla making a shitload more money on their products and still having backlogs of up to a year, this takes some real creativity. So round of applause to Gordon. Pretty impressive, my friend.
I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to get the additional $4,500 for union cars to be taken out of the bill. And I think the reason he's trying to do that is because that would give Ford and GM an advantage over Tesla.
Can you believe this guy? A couple of things to address here. First of all, Elon Musk, very clear. He doesn't believe in any subsidies, period, across the board, whether it's for EVs, gas, or anything in between. Elon was very clear that this insane spending from the government is not going to end well, and I completely agree. It's absolute insanity. I've said on this channel before, and I'll say it again, Tesla doesn't need these. The incentives are absolutely out of proportion. I mean, think about this. Some buyers will be getting $10,000+ to purchase a new electric vehicle, using the term extremely loosely, because plug-in hybrid electric vehicles also count. Vehicles with a battery that costs, I don't know, $500, $1,000 at absolute most, getting a $10,000 incentive makes no sense all year, and they still run on an internal combustion engine and pollute. This is insanity. It makes no sense. It's just crazy. However, in terms of the additional $4,500 incentive to buyers of union-made electric vehicles in the United States, which benefits Ford and General Motors and not Tesla, not Volkswagen, not Toyota, this is completely unfair. It is shameless corruption from the president and the Democratic Party. It shouldn't exist. It doesn't create a level playing field. It's a disguised bailout for legacy automotive manufacturers who didn't take electric vehicles serious, who are brain dead, who don't have competent leadership, didn't do what was necessary, and now deserve to go bust. This is completely unfair, biased, and unreasonable, and it shouldn't exist. I don't think there should be any incentives to EVs. The transition is already inevitable, costs are declining, it's a done deal regardless. Irrespective of that, the $4,500 additional incentive for union-made vehicles is shameless corruption at its finest.
So this idea that he's trying to, expand EVs for all, I mean, his actions say the exact opposite. So I think you got to look at what he's actually doing.
Good idea, Gordon. Let's look at what he's actually doing. We're over on the Tesla website, blog post from 2014 in June from Elon Musk. All our patents are belong to you. I quote, yesterday, there was a wall of patents in the lobby of our Palo Alto headquarters. That is no longer the case. They have been removed in the spirit of the open source movement for the advancement of electric vehicle technology. Tesla Motors was created to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport. If we clear a path to the creation of compelling electric vehicles, but then lay intellectual property landmines behind us to inhibit others, we are acting in a manner contrary to that goal. Tesla will not initiate patent lawsuits against anyone who, in good faith, wants to use our technology. So in case you're a little lost here, back in 2014, almost a decade ago, Tesla literally gave away all of their intellectual property and said, look, we just want electric vehicles to happen. We want to help other companies with the transition. Here's all our tech. If you use this in good faith, we won't sue you. Go for your life. We just want to accelerate the transition to EVs. Is it just me, or is this a little counter to what Gordon was implying? Maybe there's some more evidence to back up Gordon's claims or disprove them. Also on the Tesla website, non-Tesla supercharger pilot, November 1st, 2021. Today we are launching our non-Tesla supercharger pilot at 10 supercharger locations in the Netherlands. Access to an extensive, convenient and reliable fast charging network is critical for large-scale EV adoption. That's why, since opening our first superchargers in 2012, we have been committed to rapid expansion of the network. Today, we have more than 30,000 superchargers worldwide. With this pilot, 10 stations are now accessible to non-Tesla EV drivers in selected countries via the Tesla app. Tesla drivers can continue to use these stations as they always have, and we will be closely monitoring each site for congestion and listening to customers about their experiences. It's always been our ambition to open the supercharger network to non-Tesla EVs, and by doing so, encourage more drivers to go electric. This move directly supports our mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. More customers using the supercharger network enables faster expansion. Our goal is to learn and iterate quickly while continuing to aggressively expand the network so we can eventually welcome both Tesla and non-Tesla drivers at every supercharger worldwide. So once again, we seem to have evidence that might look like it's harmful to Tesla, the company, not in Tesla's best interest, but instead in the best interest of accelerating the adoption of electric vehicles. So what the actual is Gordon talking about? I don't know.
Hey, Gordon, are you bullish on the global EV market in general? And do you have any way to play that's not short? And let's say there's something you like. You could do a spread. You could short
Right.
Tesla because you hate it so much. Is there any other half of that? Is there another half of that spread? What would you buy? What would you go long if you short Tesla?
Joe, that's a great question. I don't hate Tesla. I just think Tesla's grossly overvalued, and I think it's grossly misrepresented. I think BYD is a great company. I think they're doing great things. They make their own batteries. I think that's one that you can be positive on. But, Joe, let's take a step back. Keep in mind.
Are you okay there, Gordon? Did you just have a stroke?
But, Joe, let's take a step back. Keep in mind. Battery electric cars were only 2.6% of global auto sales. Year to date, battery electric cars are trending at about 5% of global auto sales.
Talk about an own goal. Holy shit, Gordon. Does this guy not understand what he just said? Gordon is describing absolutely insane, like bonkers exponential growth. Let's do some quick math here. 2.6 times 2 is around 5%, okay? We've just seen almost a doubling of electric vehicle sales in a single year. Let's see what happens if this rate of growth continues, just approximate, okay? In 2023, we're looking at 10% of the global vehicle market. In 24, 20%. 25, 40%. 26, 80%. And 27, we've reached 100% of the global vehicle market. That is what exponential growth looks like. That is the scale of the opportunity. That is how fast this disruption is taking place. What an own goal. Of course, I'm sure Gordon is going to do some mental gymnastics and spin this in a negative light. So over to you, Gordon. Let's see what you got.
So when you ask Ford, who's been doing this for 100 years, GM, who's been doing this for 100 years, VW, to completely change their entire company to go after a 5% market share, it's not that advantageous. If you took a step back and you look at the amount of cars Tesla sells, right, not the market cap, the 800 or the roughly 900,000 cars they're going to sell this year versus VW selling 11 million. Like, these guys aren't worried about BEVs.
So with the example of exponential growth we just covered in mind, I want to address this point. It's true that in the past, legacy automotive manufacturers, more ironically, weren't worried about electric vehicles. At this point in time, however, they've realized that they completely f***ed up. They are now all scrambling as fast, as desperately as they possibly can to move towards full electrification ASAP. And as I've said many times on this channel, it's too late. They weren't worried when they should have been, and now that it's too late, they really are worried, and the vast majority of legacy automotive manufacturers will be bankrupt before the decade ends.
I think there's other technologies that are very promising, fuel cell and hydrogen. But to your question, I think BYD is a great company. Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of our time, likes it too. I think that's one you can look at positively. And with respect to next year, I think Tesla has big problems.
Please, Gordon, if you'd be so kind, tell us about these big problems Tesla will face next year.
Gross margins, their CFO said their gross margins are going to come down. Why? They're ramping 2 new fabs in Texas and Germany. And the Chinese fab effectively had no cost because they're all back and loaded. When they ramp these new fabs, their gross margins are going to come down. So with no new cars coming next year from Tesla, I think not only do you have a gross margin risk, but you have a volume risk. So I think the spread would be to be negative on the guys like Tesla and to be positive on the guys like BYD.
This is why I find it exceedingly difficult, no, impossible to believe that this clown believes anything that he says about Tesla. Let's dissect what just happened. Gordon claims that Tesla's margins are going to collapse because they're producing new facilities and therefore they're not going to be making as much money, huge capex investment, blah, 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 and then goes on to say that one of the biggest risks for Tesla next year is that the volume of vehicles that they're producing is going to collapse, having just said that they're building 2 new gigantic factories, aka to produce more vehicles. Yet a big risk next year is producing less vehicles. What planet is this guy on? How high is he? And can I have some? I just don't know what we'd do without this Muppet. Let me know in the comments below if you folks think Gordon believes a word he's saying, or if he's just trying to spin a negative narrative for whatever reason. Maybe you guys have some ideas as to why he might be so bearish on Tesla. Let me know your theories in the comments below. Personally, I don't think that Gordon actually believes anything he's saying here. I think that he's an expert at mental gymnastics, cherry picking and trying to distort things to paint a negative narrative, when he full well knows that Tesla has won the decade, no one's catching them, and legacy automotive is universally fucked. For whatever reason, it almost seems like Gordon Johnson is simply playing a role, the Tesla villain. Or maybe I'm imagining it and he actually believes everything he says. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and just a heads up, a gigantic new exclusive Q&A will be dropping on Patreon over the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. If you're not already supporting the channel on Patreon, check out the card in the corner or the link in the description. Access my Tesla stock price targets, valuation model at the investor support level and above, over 100 exclusive Q&As and a ton of exclusive content, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.